people?
Oh man, what's going on, fam? How are you?
Yeah,
I'm hoping you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
It is Monday.
Mm-hmm.
What is today's date? What does that thing say?
The 21st? Yes, the 21st. We are already flying through August.
August
flying.
is done.
Yeah.
Kids are back in school. This thing is crazy. Talk to us in the chat. I see Sunshine's Creation by DB. Is it with us?
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us. We excited. Listen, we want to say a word of apology. You know, we're starting.
We're going to start off with an apology because we are an hour late.
We're an hour late.
Life happens. Things happen. But we appreciate y'all still coming through.
Yes, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you, and thank you. 5 of y'all on the live tonight. 6 of y'all, my bad. Make your presence known. Let us know in the chat where you're watching from. We hope that you've been able to hang out with us before. We got a lot of ground to cover tonight. Our guest was very verbose.
I know. So get comfortable.
Get comfortable. We locking in. She says hi, fam. We are locking in. But listen, we are going straight into our host rant. Let's get it. Wait. I don't see host rant right now.
What?
Oh, here it is.
There it is.
My bad, y'all. It's been one of them days. Let's go. Listen.
Well. What are we ranting about today?
It's time to rant.
Yes,
it's time to rant. I want to shout out Julian Waddell in the chat right now. Yo, Paul McNeil, what's good, baby? It's all good. It's always good to see you. Always good. He says, how's it going?
That's good.
Yeah. Listen, Julian brings the whole crowd. You know what I mean? So it's about to be like 200 people on this joint.
I know, right?
But yeah. Dr. McNeil is in the building. We like it. But no, we're doing a quick shout out to Julian. He's our guest tonight, and we're excited to see Paul McNeil in the space as well. Might have to bring Paul. We might have to have you come through and hang out on the couch. Yeah.
You
we gotta
are
hear your
welcome to
perspective.
come. Yeah,
I believe he's not far. He's just a little bit of a drive away, just a short drive. So invitation coming. But listen, this is the rant for today. And as you guys, for those who are new, you never, hung out with us before, maybe because of the later hour, you're like, dope, let me check it out.
Yeah.
We normally go live. We have our host rant. That's a section where we get to vent a little bit about things. Let off a little steam, in business and as an entrepreneur, as an incubator. Some of it.
We've got a lot.
We got a lot. Then we have our incubators, our resource of the week. Then we have our Incubator Spotlight, which is usually tied to our guests. And the guest segment is called the therapy session.
Yes, and that's where they kind of share a story, a negative experience that they have been through, and what they've learned from it. Yeah.
So host rant today. What we got?
So the host rant, y'all. Have you ever had a client that you had a bad experience with?
No,
ever?
Not just a bad experience.
But like fine.
A negative
experience.
Like it didn't go well. It didn't end well.
Or they did some foolery.
Yeah.
And you were like, you know what? I'm not working with this person again.
I want to play up this first part before we ask the question. The only reason why I want to do that is because I'm not just talking about their former engagement with you ended and they didn't know it was a bad experience. I'm talking about this client knows that they did not do you right.
Yep.
It was not a bad experience. It was not a good experience at all, and it is clear on both sides that was the case. Oh, what's going on, Jana?
Hey, Jana.
And if you had a client like that. Right, you had a client. You had an experience with this client. Things you still fulfilled what it was you're supposed to fulfill. Like for Kanique, that would be delivering the website. For me, that would be producing the live show. Things came to fruition, culmination. What do you want to call it? And that engagement ended, but there was a bad taste, and both parties knew. That you were not happy. If you've had that experience, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat right now. Put a 2 in the chat if you have had an experience with a client. It ended. You did what you were supposed to do. You delivered. Whether they're happy or not is neither here nor there. In a lot of cases, they are happy, but they don't want to say it. But for you as the service provider, as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, for you, it was a negative experience. I want to see some 2s in the chat. I see Sunshine Creations DB. But, it's got a 2 in the chat.
But I feel like they know it too. They know it too. And it comes to the other part of the question.
Yeah, this is the other part of the question.
They know it, but yet they come back to you and want to do business with you again.
Mind-boggling.
Like, what would you do?
Mind-boggling. Like, how? No, real talk. What would you do? So all you guys got, listen, Shanna's got 22. So all these 2s are in the chat right now.
Yeah.
Real talk. This is the case. This is what has happened. Now, what do you do? Yeah, what do you do? How do they? So they've come back now. They want another quote. Hey, can you send me a quote? I want to do this, and you're like, what?
Like, really? Like, me? You're talking
clearly
to somebody
you're talking
else.
to somebody else.
You're talking to somebody else.
Clearly,
like,
you're talking to somebody else.
No.
You're the same one that had words, the same one that you were upset.
I want to leave a negative review. You're gonna come back and say you want to work with?
I'm blown away.
No.
Like,
that's the
no,
the audacity. My price just doubled.
I just
saw that. Double.
My
price just doubled. How about that?
Listen, yes. So Sunshine, I'm gonna say yes to that. But and Valencia says recommend
to try somebody else. Go ahead, find somebody else.
I'll be honest, man. I don't know.
Good answer. Paul.
That's a great answer, Paul.
I don't have any availability right now.
That's a great answer, Paul. But I can refer
you to someone else I think does.
I'm gonna put that answer on screen. But and Valencia's answer is really good. Recommend them to try someone else.
Very good.
I don't know. You guys are taking the high road, and maybe that's the reason why, you know what I'm saying, your boy can't be blessed, because I want to have. I'm sorry. You don't remember what happened in the last time we did work together? I just want to clarify.
That's something you would do for sure. I know that's something you would do for sure.
The last engagement didn't end well.
You're gonna let them know.
Wait. Are you?
Did you have amnesia? Did you suddenly forget?
Respond to the email like, "This is Kirk Nugent. You emailed Kirk Nugent asking for a quote. I just want to make sure you know you emailed me asking for a quote." Yeah. If you're watching right now, I'm talking to you. That former client. I'm saying the joint is mind-boggling.
Yeah,
it is mind-boggling to me.
It really is.
That some
people actually do that.
Okay, hey fam, listen, I'm not for you, and that's okay. We part ways. You know, I pray they don't do a negative review, but most of the times they do, because those are the only ones that are very easy to get.
Yep.
And then you continue on your way, and then for them to come back, what?
Yeah.
I'm a little. It's the the angst of it is like the gall, the audacity,
for real,
like the cojones of it all. I'm sorry, real. I was just like, what? Like, you came back after what we? No.
That is so true, Valencia. They don't be remembering. It's like they completely forget that they were the horrible client that they were. Like they completely forget it. Oh my goodness, Valencia. Yes.
Oh, yes. I didn't even think about that. The bully's trying to be your friend.
Like,
yo, you
did
remember
you
we used
suddenly
to do?
Forget?
No. We didn't used to do nothing. Y'all used to do that stuff, and you didn't let me come. That's what it was. You don't remember in high school? Nope. No. I don't remember that in high school. But anyway, we digress. Listen, this is supposed to be a host rant for business, but that was a good point, though, Valencia. You got me triggered on that. Triggered. Listen, fam, energy drainers. Gary Link comes through.
That is so true.
Will
Gary.
impact your focus on other clients. This is so true.
So true.
I am in no way saying that I will, take on said client.
Nope.
But I'm just saying I feel the need to clarify and be like, hey doc, you don't remember that this thing didn't end good.
Like, seriously, like,
this didn't end well. No. This did not end well. Listen, I love the activity in the chat tonight. Arlene Wembley is here. Arlene, it's so good to see you on the live. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. She says they pretend they don't remember. They hope that you don't remember. Listen.
Really?
Listen. Really? Chris Stone said, I joined at the trigger point.
For real, man.
I joined at
people
the trigger
are crazy.
point. What's going on, Chris?
That's what you come to realize, that people are not all there, man. They're not all together right. They're not.
A good friend of mine, Leslie Samuel, said this to me last week. We're talking about actually on a positive side of things. He's like, what we think is normal to us sometimes is not normal to others. Because he had a scenario where somebody was like, yeah, we want you to do this little video, and we have a budget of about I just realized, I was like, oh, maybe I can't say that out loud. But anyway, they had a ridiculous budget, and they were asking him if it's okay. And he was like, yeah, sure. But in his mind, he's like, oh, shoot, we're about to get paid. So it's like, what's normal for you?
I get what you're saying.
And what's normal for others. So I think that it's out of that same energy that people are like, yo, let me come back and ask him to do this work. And you're like, but the last one didn't go well.
No.
You didn't actually like my work. Like, you drained all my energy. I actually have a policy in place at my business because of you. And you're back? No. It's a no for me. And with that, we're going to head over to Resource of the Week. Maybe it's better. Uh-oh.
Oh, you caught us
unaware. That song is way too short. Anyway,
all right.
Y'all, Resource of the Week. Go ahead.
Resource of the Week is Google Forms, y'all. Google Forms. I know many of you have heard of Google Forms. If you have not, where have you been?
Listen,
under a rock?
I'm
telling you.
99.
Google Forms has been clutch for a lot of things. Like, I send people there if they are frustrated with using the form on a website. Like, go ahead and create a form right there. Google Forms is easy, and you can embed it. Or if they need to get a survey done real quick, man, Google Forms.
And you can get analytics out of the back end. You can get data from how people have signed up and done different things.
Yep.
I like those as well.
We use it for our client intake.
Yeah, we do.
So, and what's really cool about Google Forms is it can dump everything into an Excel sheet for you.
Yeah.
So even into a Google Drive folder as well. So like if people upload a form with pictures, I can just go straight to the folder, grab everything, and do what I need to do. So I really love that about Google Forms. That
part for me is the game changer.
Yeah, it's really cool.
As clients are submitting assets, logos, graphics, different things, even their brand package with hex codes and everything else, they can upload all that stuff. It's dropped into one folder. I have it already there. And in fact, my team has access to it. So it's like one less step that I don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's really dope.
And what's also cool is you can get notified when someone fills out that form. So I automatically get an email notification. So-and-so submitted the form. Perfect. I can just go ahead and do what I need to do.
Yeah. The Google Forms. Listen, first of all, I should have said this at the beginning. How many of you have used in the past, are currently using, or are considering using Google Forms? It is free. I want to say that free. It comes with your Google account. So
and there is a paid version if you need more functionality. Hey, check out the paid version, but the free, man.
I've never used the paid version.
Neither have I. The free has been so easy to use. I get a lot done with it. So,
and I'll add a little hack on top of that. I use the free version, but then I have a thing called Rebrandly, and Rebrandly allows me to create custom links. So I create my form, then give it a rebranded link, and then it just looks so seamless because you're like, oh, just go here, and then they go to that link, and it brings them right to the Google form. It's like, oh,
because that URL be ridiculous.
Yeah, the URL
it'd be like 50 characters.
That URL be long. URL be long. I see Valencia's waving her hand.
So that's a good hack.
Yeah,
definitely look into that, and we probably will do Rebrandly as a resource. Have we done that one yet?
There's not a free version.
Oh, there's not. Well, never mind. But it's a good idea, though. Really so dope. Definitely, that's something you should think about as an entrepreneur.
We try to share free resources that at least have a free version. Let me say it that way. For our resource of the week. But Google Forms, this is our resource of the week this week. Check out our previous shows. We've shared so many forms in the past. I mean, not forms, but resources in the past that are amazing. Thank you so much, Janet. We truly appreciate that comment. But let me tell you something. We're gonna show a quick little clip of a platform called OU Launchpad. I feel like I need to kind of give a little prep for this, because but our guest tonight is none other than Julian Waddell, and he is currently the executive director of OU Launchpad, and we're going to show this little clip. We're going to get into our therapy session with him, and then we will come back and close this thing out. So let's get it. Man, we are excited to be here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video that just played. Just kind of highlighting a little bit about T.O. Guy and some of the things that our guest does. This is fam, y'all. I just want to pause here. Now we've had his better half on the show. In fact, one of our first.
Yes, we did. If you remember, Jana
Peterson. That's right. 57 North Avenue. That's right. That's right. So this is a family, keeping it in the family. But this is one of the things I find with entrepreneurs, business owners, is that once you get the bug, you have multiple. So actually, it's not the same business.
No,
completely different.
It's a totally different business, totally different brand. And so we're excited to be able to highlight that for you guys today, man. Julian Waddell, professor, author, public speaker.
He does a lot, y'all.
Esports aficionado and judge, right?
Trying to put my finger in a little bit of everything.
Listen, man, I love it. And I love the title that you use for yourself, which is Ecosystem Builder. I love that. Just take a second and share a little bit with our audience about you, about the handle that they see on the screen, which is Ideal Wingman, and of course T.O. Guy, which is what we're going to highlight here today.
Okay. Yeah. Well, just to give you a little background, I guess I'm going to go all the way back. I've been an entrepreneur since I was a kid. I started my first LLC when I was 10, and it's because the way that I have always looked at the development of business, it's like I want to be able to solve a problem. And in the process of solving a problem, what can I bring to the table to create a solution for that problem? And so going back to when I was 10, I was really interested. I was really interested in, at that point, selling candy. The LLC wasn't about selling candy, but I wanted to be able to do it, and I had never did it. And
you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere.
Come on. Selling candy.
It was a terrible job because I gave all the candy away for free on credit.
On credit.
On credit. I mean, there's people out there still that owes me money.
Come on, some now and laters, man. Come on.
But what I learned from that is that my parents asked me outright, okay, you spent your money that you earned on candy to try to make a business around it, and you gave it all away on credit. Why did you do it? And I didn't understand at first, but I started to think critically that I wanted to build, I didn't have the words for it, but I wanted to build social capital.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
being able to so looking back, you can come up with that term now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got it.
And I didn't realize it at that point, but I was really into ecosystem building at that point. And so what was important to me, I had I loved IT even when I was a kid, but I was really into gaming back then. And I wanted to be able to get, at that time, students on my side for setting up computers. So back in the day, it's like I went to this church school, and we didn't really have computers at this church school. And I was one of the few families that had a computer at home, and I was obsessed with Oregon Trail.
Oh man, you taking it way back now.
Yes.
Oregon Trail and Carmen Sandiego.
I love Carmen Sandiego. That was the other game. So I wanted to be able to have that.
That was on the Tandy, man. That was on the Tandy.
Man,
I missed out.
With the 3 1/4. That was high technology back then. Because we had the 5 1/4 with floppy.
Yes.
Then you had the 3 1/2. Oh my
People
goodness.
in the chat are like, what?
What I usually say to this generation is, if you've ever seen the save button, it used to be a real thing, a real disc, a real medium, and that's where we would save our files to. But you could only get a couple files on there.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the beauty of that is like that actually turned into the first company that I started.
That's good.
Now I didn't. It was a bartering company, but the company truly, what it really was a ecosystem company, and I didn't realize that at the fact. I didn't have the words for it. I didn't get those words until after college. But at that time, I was one of the things that I knew was my skill set was basically finding people that could do different things and basically bringing them all together to make that work.
That's dope.
Okay.
And
that's dope. And you're still using some of those skills.
That's good.
Those elements continued on in almost every venture that I did, but that was key for me.
Wow.
Nice.
And so to go back to answer your original question in regards to T.O. Guy and Ideal Wingman, I realize a lot of the times there are people out there that are interested in starting their businesses, and they just want to be able to just focus on their idea, what they're skilled at.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, and there needs to be individuals that work behind the scenes that can actually help them with their infrastructure and help them so they can just focus on what they want to do or what they're good at. And that's what I built my whole business around.
That is so dope. Listen, man, you guys are here on the Incubators Couch. Our last guest, I'm not really certain what order we're going to do these, but our last guest was also somebody who helps people bring their ideas to life. In fact, it was Kimon Hines. That's our last guest.
Yep.
And so I know he asked about you actually while he was here.
Yeah, he did.
But so these are resources. We want to make sure you guys are aware that you can book a session with Julian. You could book a session with Kimon, and you can get over those hurdles, begin to realize how much there is in these systems, in these circles that you've created, how many resources that you already have access to, and begin to start seeing some of those gaps where your business might actually lie. So I love how you kind of put that together, man. That's absolutely awesome. And I love the creativity in the names as well. That one guy, and then Idea Wingman. Come on.
I love it.
I love that. Yeah. So let us know in the chat, man, if you have which one of those names resonate with you more, Idea Wingman or T.O. Guy. That one guy. T.O. Guy is
because we never did tell them what T.O. Guy means.
That one guy. Right.
I love that one too.
And I can actually elaborate on where that even came from.
Sure.
So when I went to college, I carried on a lot of the things that I did prior to going to college. Like I said, I was an entrepreneur for years. And it was to the point that I came to college on day one where everyone's like, oh man, I can't wait to go to college. I had taken off a year specifically to save up money. It goes back to how it started, to buy a whole bunch of snacks. So I literally had boxes and boxes. I had more boxes than I had suitcases for my clothes of snacks because I was prepared on day one. I was literally coming up to everyone like, if you want to buy something in the dorm, come for me. Leave the vending machine alone. Come to me.
Better deal.
Wow.
Yes. That's
and
really
I had
cool.
great deals because. So here's the secret.
That's a business for somebody.
Someone of you, like
one of your kids.
This week, we've had a lot of friends in town, Kimon as well, because they're dropping their kids off at college, and I'm like, man, some kid is going into the dorm right now with the wrong attitude. You've got to see this as an opportunity.
Let me tell you how much of an opportunity. I made $4,000 a month. I made more money as a student my freshman year than my first job out of college.
Wow, y'all.
That
This is madness. Okay. Yo, the incubators are all perked up right now. Everybody's taking notes. I see you right now thinking to yourself, I've got a 15-year-old who's getting ready for college, and I need that young man, that young woman to make that $4K a month while they're in college. That is absolutely awesome. Really cool.
And I can tell you the secret because I don't do that anymore now. But honestly, it's like most people would go and say, I'm going to go to Sam's and I'm going to buy in bulk. But that cuts out of the profit margins. The real secret that I was able to do was go to the farmer's market. So a lot of the times, these candies, these drinks, if there's like maybe a little scar on the paper or if there's something, they just like fruit, they're ugly fruit, but everything is still good. So I would go to these farmers markets or these fruit stands, and I would buy, let's say for instance, a whole pack of Snickers. And this is where you would know. Like for instance, have you ever gone to Walmart after a holiday, and you would see, we no longer
all that stuff is on sale.
Yes, super sale. So like for instance, a pack of Snickers, where that would probably cost somebody for a 10-pack, maybe a couple dollars. I would get them 10 cents on the dollar. So I would sell it cheaper than, of course,
the vending machine or something. But
or that you get it at a gas station. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's good, y'all.
So I was able to make hands over fists, and then I went door to door.
I'm about to end the recording so I can go make some more money now. That is crazy. That's crazy. No, one of the things we love about bringing business owners like you to the Incubators Couch is that we not only get to the perspective of your history and your experiences, but we also learn ideas. I think real talk. There's a lot of business ideas that have been shared right here on the couch. So I'm hoping you guys are taking notes. Hoping you're paying attention. This is like a bonus. But no, listen. So now we know who the TO guy is. We know Idea Wingman. We've gotten a chance to kind of get to know Julian a little bit more and what makes you tick. Talk to us about the story that So now we're settling in on the couch,
we're ready
right?
for the story.
We're our feet are up. The pillow's there, and
we're all comfortable now.
We're comfortable now. We've divided the stranger among us. Now it's time to talk. Talk to us about this story that whatever experience you have for us on the couch for today.
So it goes back to T.O. Guy.
Okay.
So again, T.O. Guy is that one guy. And I was that one guy that fixed computers, sold snacks, all these different things. But eventually, it got to the point where it was time for me to get a job. All right. So I started the business. I started my business, T.O. Guy, while I was in college. And I was thinking along the line that when I graduate, I'll be focusing on the job. I won't necessarily be focusing on the business. But during the time I graduated, it was a bad market. It's like this was around the time the housing market crashed. All these different things were happening. So people weren't getting jobs. So
I remember that.
I decided
2008,
yeah.
Wow.
So I decided to continue and grow the business. And it's like I had done a lot of research because how I started this business was, yes, startup support, but really what it really was workforce incubator.
Okay.
And so it's like the way that the business started was along the line of, you bring me, and this is students or recent graduates, you bring me your job description of the job you wanted, because it's like, even myself, I applied for 397 jobs at that time. Ooh, and the first job and the last job, I had to interview both times, and the first time they told me I didn't have enough experience, and then the second time, same resume, I had too much experience. So this is something that all of the students at that time frame.
I remember that time frame.
So this goes to now I have this business, and I'm telling these people that are recent grads, give me the job description for the job you want, and I will help by taking on projects that are associated with those job descriptions, so you can get the experience
in this business, right?
Okay,
And so now it goes to the client. So got a client. The client was more than happy to work with us. They loved our proposal and everything. The thing was, while when we got 75% through the job, they realized that I was working with students, and recent grads. Now the work was quality work.
Okay.
But they had a viewpoint that, oh, you're working with students, you're working with this, is like, this can't be good quality. So they wanted to renege on the contract because the way that they viewed the people that was doing the work for them as these people are entry level.
Wow. You can't be it can't be a superior product.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Now keep in mind, these students, it's like the idea of entry level is entry level based on resume. A resume can actually a resume, if you're not as, what's the word? Skilled. I'll say skilled. If you're not as skilled as working resume, something like, especially when you're a recent grad, there's a lot of things like that are life experience related that you may not put on your resume. So of course, based on a resume, a lot of students are entry level people will look like, okay, you don't have the experience, but a lot of these students actually have tons of experience.
Right?
And they can do the job sometimes better than the people that has the best resume. Right. But there was a huge discrepancy because of the idea that you are, like, our company is utilizing students and people that on paper would not qualify. And so there was a huge pushback 3/4 of the way. And now keep in mind, this was our first big client. We mainly targeted smaller companies such as startups and nonprofits because those startups and nonprofits were in the very beginning stages of building their business. And so
they needed to scale.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this was a huge, $1 million company. And we were all celebrating, like, we finally have made it to the big leagues.
Come on.
But the problem, because of the discrepancy, we had to fight for years to get our final payment.
Wow.
And you've already gone 75% through the project.
That's what I was going to
that's
raise. You guys finished it though.
We finished it.
We finished the project.
But part of the continuation was the maintaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the project was a web project, and at that time it was also, because this was early on. So I started to date my company. I started my company in 2009. During that time frame, a lot of people didn't know about like as much on the utilization of social media.
And things
so
like that, right?
we built their website and set up their social media presence.
Right.
This is something that a lot of people didn't do at that time for this type of organization.
Right.
So we set that up. And to be completely honest with you, the people who would know it more are the people that use it all the time,
Pretty
such
much,
as the students
which
and
makes
grads.
sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're actually the experts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But because what they saw were, in their mind, beginners, they felt that these individuals could not give the quality that they would have expected, which didn't make any sense to me.
This is interesting. This is really interesting. I mean, this is intriguing as well. So my first question, I know you're not quite done, but I want to just make sure I get this one part in. Did up to the time that they found out, were they happy with the?
Yes, they loved it.
That's what I wanted.
They loved it. It was they basically said that the work that we did was better than the work that they've had previously for the same project.
How could they renege? I mean, how can they? How can they do an about face when they find out who's doing the work? The work product is good. Yeah. You're raving about it, and then you find out who's doing it, and you're like,
it doesn't change the work product.
I can actually tell you, it's like, so this was the actual beginning of the problem. So although I've started business before, I had never had a client that size. And when you're first starting,
this is gonna be good, right?
This is one of the things that you don't really, you're unsure on how to bill and all these different things.
Yeah,
so I knew
true.
everything that I needed to do, but I was used to dealing with smaller clients. And so I didn't have the infrastructure in place to basically to navigate how to deal with receiving payments, accounts payable, all those different things. We negotiated, we made this is the plan, this is the process, you pay the check.
Yeah.
Once they realized that I didn't have that in place that they would normally, at that time I had never heard of, okay, I need to send in this type of tax paperwork for my organization. I didn't know anything about that properly. I knew enough, but I didn't know as much about, I send this invoice in, and then this invoice goes to this additional process through accounting, and all these different things.
Okay.
But so I'm learning on the fly about that in communication with them, because usually before I would send in a invoice, they would send me the check. That's it. But going through that process killed me. And they said, okay, well, if you don't know this, their first pushback was, are we your first client? Like, no. It's like, are we your first big client? It was like that.
So they were digging, trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah. Okay.
This is a whole case study right here. Yeah. There are many lessons to be pulled from, because what happens, incubators, if success arrives before you're ready for it?
Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say
right. That's one question. Secondly, and this goes back to, of course, knowing your perfect person, knowing your avatar, because there are people in my same field, right, that do what I do. Let's just take, for instance, on YouTube, right, from a content perspective, I have a bunch of friends who say almost word for word the exact same thing I say, but their audience receives it because it's coming from their mouth, and my audience receives it because it's coming from mine, and the two will never meet because they would not receive it from those others, and vice versa. My audience wouldn't, their audiences wouldn't receive it from me. I remember my dad had about 13, 14 properties around St. Petersburg, Florida, where we grew up, and he had a white gentleman that worked with him, that worked for him. I want to be clear, and that gentleman collected the rent. Because when he first started and he was collecting the rent himself, he had a lot of issues. Yeah. Even though most of the tenants, some were white, but most of the tenants were black. But they didn't want to give, you see it? Yeah. So sometimes it's the packaging of the services, the packaging of the provider that causes somebody to say this is not a superior product. Yep. Yeah. That is a lesson. That is a major, like, wow, bro.
And I faced that as well as a black female. In a male dominated field. Yes. I experienced that so much.
But also somebody else said this on the couch as well. Youth can be a liability.
Yes, it can.
Like I show up, I look the way I look. Not every time people assume that I'm when I'm with Kanique, actually people assume I'm older. I don't know why that is. So she's my ticket to being in the older club. But when I'm not with her, people immediately assume this is a kid.
What?
Yeah.
No, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
And that assumption can limit you.
Yes.
Like big time. That there's a mental block, and you just have to know that going in. That this is my lot in life. I said to somebody the other day, I'm 43, and they literally coughed on their water. Like they could not believe what you're. Yeah, and so even like real talk, we're talking about Tandy and you know what was it, Oregon Trail and Carmen Sandiego. Somebody's watching right now, like, how in the world does he know that? But these are the things that you have to be mindful of in terms of as you're in business, as you put together your proposals, as you look at the industry that you're going into. There's some work and some homework that goes into it. The last thing I'll say, we'll hand it back over to you to kind of close up some things and tell us some of your takeaways from this particular experience. Is there's so many people that me and Kanique run into. I'm looking directly at the camera now, incubators, where they say, hey, should I dive in? Should I take the plunge? Should I go into business? And what I'm always looking for from those people is, what work have they done? What prep work have they done? Yeah. And what you just said in terms of accounts receivable,
all of that.
How I asked one friend, I'm like, so how are you going to have people pay you? And he said Cash App and then kind of chuckled, but then he stopped chuckling when he realized that I was re-asking the question. Yeah. No, really, how are you going to have people pay you? And he recognized in that moment, I'm actually not ready.
Yeah.
You're not ready.
Yeah, I'm actually not ready. So I want to say that to our incubators who are watching, and I'm just reminded that, there are some boxes you need to check.
Yes.
And I love the way you grew into it, Julian, in terms of, taking those clients through. But I also want to make mention, one of the things that Julian has the benefit of that you do not have the benefit of in 2023 is that a lot of this stuff was new back then.
Yes, it was.
You know,
because back then people were still doing checks.
Yeah. Nobody does checks now. No. Who does a check now? Right? So back in that time frame, you said what, 2008, 2009?
2009.
Oh yeah, you could get away with the check and that stuff worked. You could still have your business and people write a check to the business. Ain't nobody doing that now. Where's the invoice? Can I pay this online? I can't use a credit card? And they're looking at you like, okay, you're not ready. No, I mean, real talk. If I left my last barber because he doesn't have a payment method that I can do electronically. Yeah. So no, but talk to us a little bit about some of your takeaways from that particular experience and how did it conclude as well? Yeah.
So Teal Guy's successful now, but that nearly tanked us. Wow. Because we were doing so well up until that point that it was one of those things where we put a lot of effort paying for the. I was the type that, and I still am. I want to make sure that my people are taken care of. That works for me. Yeah. So regardless of whether or not the client pays, I'm going to pay.
You're still paying, right? Okay.
And so the biggest issue at that time was how long it was going to take just to fight to get the money. And I paid everything out. And I pulled because the project was so big, I didn't have the capacity to work on anything else, even though I had, up until that point, I had multiple clients, all these different things, but we pulled everybody onto that project. Because of how big it was. It is a big project, And it truly shifted our business model. Now, when we first started Teal Guy, it was like, we are that one guy that, like, yes, we help from a workforce incubator standpoint, but it was like, we are here to provide technical support, IT support, because that was my degree. That's what was my background. And we're going to find technical support. But I didn't know how bad IT was treated, would be treated.
Yeah.
I didn't know how technology, although it's integral in everything that we're doing, the people that support technology, I didn't know how diminished.
Yeah. I know exactly.
Yes,
I how they're viewed.
How they're viewed.
Right, right. It's the value is not there. Yeah.
And so when we years later, I finally was able to get what was owed to our company. But by that time, we had to completely shift gears into what our business model was.
Right, right.
Because we still perform some form of technical support, but we decided to, you know what, we're going to focus purely on the workforce incubation side.
Right. Okay. So to augment, right, helping others scale. Right.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's what Teal Guy now specializes in. So we now focus on the development of these startups or these people as they're trying to navigate the entrepreneurship ecosystem, while allowing them to be able to actually be trained to enter those type of fields.
Right.
Okay.
And so that became that. So now the idea of Teal Guy is, yes, we're that one guy that's behind the scenes, but we also help you to not just be that one guy.
Yeah. To have many guys.
And like, to be clear, it's like I say guy gender neutrally.
Yes, we understand.
Totally get it. Yeah.
But that's really good, cool, man. That you guys were able to pivot like that. That's really cool.
And so that was one of the takeaways. What if somebody else is coming up on a similar scenario, what would you say to them? Hey, keep this in mind. What would be that thing from this particular experience that you learned that you'd be like, man, you need to be mindful of this as you enter into that space?
I would say the very first thing that you need to take in mind as you're going after big contracts is to see if you have the capacity to handle those contracts.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing is some like the saying goes, everything that glitters isn't
not gold.
Yes.
Ooh. Yeah.
And the reason why I would like to say that is that if we would have stayed with our clientele that we started, who we were originally targeting, and continued to build our capacity around that, it would have ended up being a lot more successful.
Okay.
Because we knew our audience, we knew our perfect customer.
Yeah.
Right? But our biggest thing was, you know what? We want to scale quickly. We want to be the next big thing. We want to be a multi-billion-dollar company. It's like we're in Huntsville. We want one of our buildings in Research Park.
Come on.
And if we take on this client, we very well can be able to do that. But we weren't able to scale the way that we wanted to by taking on more than we can chew.
Right. Yeah. It has to be at your own pace.
Yes.
And there's some steps you have to go through, some things you have to do before you can even take on a big client like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I thought this is what you were going to say. For composition, we've realized that the bigger clients are not for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've actually said,
Yes.
we've done the bigger clients, especially on the website. We've done the bigger clients and we've just kind of said, really
I'm
not
good.
our thing.
Yeah.
It's just, there's way too many moving parts. There is a difference. There's a difference between working with somebody who has been assigned that role in a company and working with a business owner.
Yes.
And what we've realized is when we're doing a website or we're doing a live show or a live project, when we're working with the owner, there's a lot less steps in between.
Yep.
We get it straight from the horse's mouth. So we're not guessing. We know that when we deliver this and we see that the owner is happy, we're good.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're working with an intermediary, maybe even a communications director, right? You never know.
And see that right there, that highlights it completely. Because see, what I didn't mention is that with the big client, the transition happened because the person that was the intermediary actually left that role.
Oh.
And a new person came in mid-role.
That's the trigger. Right.
They had a viewpoint on, it's like they were the type of, they view projects by what titles do you have behind your name?
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are all these different things? And so it wasn't about the work at this point. It was because you haven't gone through what they view was the fire. Then
this can't be good.
It can't be.
Yeah, you're not credible.
It's not battle.
That's
yeah,
what they're trying to say. Yeah.
And that's crazy. Everybody has their definitions of what battle tested means.
Yes.
And but I think one of the things, as my boss in Africa said, it's never bad to be known for good work. If you're known for good work, that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
And so if you develop a track record of good work, regardless of what's behind your name, what degrees you have, but a track record, there are people out there that say, man, when I work with Julian, I'm done. It's gold.
Your work
right?
speaks for itself.
That speaks for itself. So there are ways to navigate. I've always remember I produced a project in Nashville for a client, and Eric Thomas was the speaker, and he said that there are many people who did not want him to come and speak because he would not put on a shirt and tie. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he would come with his fitted hat and his t-shirt and his shorts and his J's, and there was many corporate clients that were like,
really?
Nah. No, this was earlier on.
Wow.
And so what he did was every corporate client that would have him come and speak the way he was, he would. He said, I would give them like 10,000% more. And it got to the point where the other ones started calling him like, bro, we made a mistake. Can you come back? Different price for them. And so that actually was part of the reason why he was able to scale the way he did in terms of, his speaker fee. But we digress. The point is, this is when somebody looks at you and says you can't be a good product just because of my own biases. There are ways to circumvent that, to such that those same people will be coming back to you and be like,
when they come back,
oh yeah,
upgrade.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Go ahead.
I want to co-sign with what you all said, because that actually is so it's not a bad ending, even though it impacted us greatly.
Yeah.
But literally that methodology by sticking with the smaller companies,
clients,
smaller clients, and providing that type of hands-on boutique support, it basically transformed our company for the better.
Wow.
It because they not only were they grateful, we developed this. This is where the Ideal Wingman came from. Okay. We developed an Ideal Wingman service where
you would come alongside.
Yes. And see, the thing is, dealing with clients like that is like I mentioned this in one of our other interviews in regards to, it's not just me, but it's something our company does, which is the information buffet.
Right.
A lot of the time, these individuals just want to be able to know. It's like, I want to know how to do it.
That is true. Yeah. You guys do that a lot.
Yeah.
That is true.
So we try to explain everything.
Right.
And what ends up happening is like, okay, now that I know everything that goes into it, can you help us do it?
Yeah.
And they're more interested in working with us because they're like, with all the information that we shared, they could have went with anyone else, but because of how knowledgeable we are, we literally took the issue about them, our big client not realizing how knowledgeable we were. And we decided to turn it on its back of the information buffets. That's where that came from.
This is the same concept as for content creators, right? Because I had a coaching client last week say to me, but Kirk, if I give them all of that, am I not giving them, I gave them all my knowledge. I'm like, yeah, give it to them. It's like, if I put all that in my content on YouTube, then why would they come to me? Because you have all the knowledge.
Yes.
And they're like, what? I'm like, there are clients out there that don't want to do the work. But they need a way to vet the person that they're going to hire.
Yes.
And because you're the creator putting the content out there, they're looking like, oh, they knew all that? Oh, that's how it looks at the end?
Yep.
That's the person I'm hiring.
That's who they're going after.
So the information buffet, that is gold.
Excellent
that is gold.
idea.
We might have to make
good.
a little t-shirt, man.
Information buffet.
Man, listen, every time we're
so
together,
good.
brother, there's always, so much synergy and so many really good nuggets of wisdom. You've shared a lot with us today. This has been a phenomenal conversation. We're gonna have you come back.
I'm happy to.
Yeah. Next time you'll bring a different business because we know you got multiple.
He's got multiple.
Right? We bring another different business and we'll talk about that. But man, thank you so much for sharing with us today, fam. You heard the nuggets of wisdom. You heard some of the takeaways.
So much.
A lot to debrief on. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for being with us.
I'm glad to be here. I love every time I'm able to have this conversation with you all. It makes me realize how far God has gotten me.
Ooh, that's good. Sometimes you got to look back.
That's true.
That's good. Take care, y'all.
Man, that was so good. So good. And that joint resonated with me a lot.
Man.
A lot.
It was like 4 interviews in one. Honestly,
it was, and that's why it was really long too. It was so much.
He was sharing his history because it's difficult for him to have shared this story without giving some of the context of how he arrived there. But there was a lot. I don't know. Talk to us in the comments. Some of you guys are still hanging out with us in the live tonight. We love this. We may have to change our time, man.
I know. We're getting a lot of people on here.
Man, this is dope.
What's going on?
This is phenomenal to have these numbers tonight. We love that. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Let us know in the comments what your takeaway was. Julian Waddell is in the chat as well. We just want to give him a quick shout out. Thank you so much. His bride is in the chat as well. You guys, phenomenal. Y'all are go-to well of wisdom. Of wisdom. We thank you. Go ahead.
What really resonated with me was how I am viewed when I stand up. Everybody knows I go to BNI every week, and I have to stand up and say what my ask is. And I know when I get up, people are like, who is this 15-year-old getting up talking about she got a business and she know what she doing? Like, y'all don't know. It is hard. And I'm like, I know I have to break those barriers. Like, I have to work so much harder to show them my credibility. Like, I've been doing this 13 years. I know what I'm doing. And 13. I'm like, I'm not trying to big myself up too much, but I'm just like, just look at my work. Check my work. And then you can see, oh, she knows what she's talking about. But I know those looks on their faces every week. I have to be like, yes, I know what I'm doing. I know I look young. I know I'm black, which is the minority in the room. But it's rough. But
I think, and I think one of the things that was also from the interview with Julian is that you have to realize or find the opportunities based. It's like, yes, all those things are true of you. Now, how do you use them?
Yes.
Right, as an asset. Because whatever is a quote unquote limitation in your life, you can actually flip that.
Yes,
because
can.
it becomes a something that's unique about you, and that is gold right there. You know, I was talking to a guy. I'm not gonna give all the details, but he's in a specific space and he's looking to create content, but he has one leg. And he was like, well, you know, and he just kept on talking about the fact that he has one leg as this limiting factor. And I was like, yo, but for the content though, however, that one leg actually is, you got a leg up.
Yes, you do.
Pun intended. He was like, he laughed, but he was like, really? I was like, yo, how many people out there
creating content with one leg?
Like, boom. You're one-legged expert. It's like, yo, you could brand on that bad boy. You know what I'm saying? Utilize that thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Listen, take them lemons and make lemonade. This is what I'm saying. Like, don't identify those things that are quote unquote. Let's be. And this is what the Incubators Couch is about.
Yeah.
All right. Those things that you just rattled off, those are true. And let us have a moment to commiserate about them. To validate the fact that they're real and they're pain points for you. Now let's flip it. Right? Have your pity party.
Flip it.
I am not saying don't have to. That's what Incubators Couch is all about. But then flip that bad boy.
Flip that joint.
Because ain't nobody else got this.
That's true.
Ain't nobody else got this. No. I said to my niece, man, I be trying not to talk, y'all. This is my issue. I'm looking at the time.
And we already almost over there.
But anyway, I said to my niece, I'm gonna tell y'all anyway. You know me, I'm gonna tell you anyway. I said to my niece, she is on Kanique's side, so her mother is Jamaican, her father is South African. I'm telling her, man, listen, you are a South African Jamaican mix.
Come on, man,
She's
unique.
like, yeah, you know, all the kids at school, everybody's South African, everybody's Xhosa, everybody's Zulu, everybody's Swana Pedi. I'm like, yeah, but how many of them are half Jamaican, half
like who
South
can
African?
Drop some patois with some coastal language? Like, come on.
I was like,
who can?
You see it as a limitation, but I'm telling you,
that joint is fire. Okay?
That right there is gonna be your ticket.
Yeah,
you gotta find those things. Gotta find those things.
Yeah,
utilize them. I love that. Julian used that in his story. So many different inflection points in there. I mean, that's how he was able to flip Teal Guy into an incubator for getting the experience that he needed, so he could actually get the job that he wanted.
Fire.
Talk about never
amazing.
Taking no for an answer.
Yeah,
that joint is a masterclass, y'all. You can go back and watch that joint again.
Really
straight up. Sunshine says, that's good. Thank you so much, Sunshine. Listen, the one-legged expert. Let me tell you, son, we breaking it down over here, man. But
y'all better think about it now. Think about it. How
man.
You can flip that limitation for your benefit.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Listen, fam, we love this space. We love hanging out with y'all. We're not going to keep you any longer because it's been, we're already at the hour mark.
Yeah, we actually made it to an hour because typically we finish a little bit early. So we actually made it close to an hour. That's pretty good.
But it's 10 o'clock. It's almost 10 o'clock for our folks out in the East
Coast.
It's coming up on 8 o'clock for our folks out west. I'm seeing, let me see here. I need to hear that how to flip the limitation. Yes. Come on, Sunshine. I'm telling you, this is the way. This is the way. I always say that. I've tried my best, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I always say to folks, you've got to be able to see those aspects of your story that are make you unique.
Yes.
And figure out ways that you can interject that into whatever it is you're doing.
Capitalize on that joint.
That's what makes it. Listen, that's what the reason why people are gonna come to me over someone else is because it's me.
You are unique.
Bring you to whatever it is you do. Yeah, you are unique. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Sherry Campbell says Julian Waddell is an amazing young man.
Yes, he is.
The young man piece.
He is.
Hey, I believe he's an amazing young man as well. Fam, listen, we're gonna lay it down right there. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Truly appreciate it. For those who are catching the replay, love y'all too. Drop a comment.
Yep. Share it with somebody.
We will respond. Yeah, man. For all of y'all that are on tonight, man, this was a phenomenal conversation. Don't keep it to yourself. Let's share it with somebody because Incubators Couch is. Are you going to say?
No.
Come on.
Unscripted.
It's literally on your t-shirt.
Unscripted, vulnerable conversations with entrepreneurs
and business owners just like you. And we'll see you, family, around these internet streets or in the next video. Later, fam.